Okay, you can go to the next one already.
Yeah. Next one.
Okay, so I'm just going to introduce myself. My name's Rachel, and I started out in Enactus as a co-founder of the Project Wise, that was from Leeds Uni. Did anyone go to Nationals last year? Yeah, cool. I don't know if you will listen to us. We were in the finals and we presented Wise. Go to the next one. I didn't do anything to do with business or women or anything at uni. I studied geography and I spent most of my degree in a field like this. Go to the next one. Yeah, next one. And this is my job now. So we created a really great partnership. That's me in the middle, yeah. We created a really great partnership with Together Women Project when we were running Wise. And as a result of that project partnership, I now work for Together Women Project, and I've made a partnership with Enactus. So I'm here as an old student, and I'm also here as a project partner. So I can give you the perspective from a student, but also what we expect from you as partners. We're becoming sort of a county-wide partner now. Is anybody from Sheffield? Nobody from Sheffield here? Okay, so Sheffield are partnered with Together Women Project as well. We're also in places like Hull and Bradford, coming across to Manchester and everywhere, so mostly in the north. Okay.
Quickly just introduce myself. I'm a session outline. No. So my name's Mike. I was a project leader when in my first and second year. Then I was in charge of projects. I've dealt with a lot of project partners from the Enactus point of view as a student, and then I've helped a lot of teams with their problems with finding good partners, achieving good partners, and everything else in between. Between the two of us, we've got a lot of experience, and now with an actual project partner, we're hoping to get the inside information on exactly how to make the best of it. So, this session has grandiose aims. Some of the stuff that we've already covered, what you want to get out of it. So, we're going to cover what partnerships can offer you, so why to actually make great partnerships, but also how to find that perfect partner. It's not easy. It's actually one of the things we cover is perfect partners maybe don't necessarily exist. Do you want to?
Yeah, and then we're going to go through how you build and develop a partnership. So that's things like we're going to go through how to choose your partner, but then also how to build trust, how to build respect, and as a team, how to build reputation. And then we're going to go through some do's and don'ts, so kind of basic things, but also some other things that you might not have thought of. And then we've got a little exercise for you to do, and quite a lot of room for questions at the end, hopefully, because I know that's a really important thing, things we might not cover.
Yeah. But please ask questions as we go along as well.
Yeah.
Like just butt in, tell us what not. Could you? So, great projects require great partnerships. A wise man once said. I created that slide. I'm claiming that. Basically, I have worked on over 100 projects. And I can tell you, no matter how good the idea is, no matter how hard the students try, so often it comes down to how excellent the partner is. If you've got a really good partner, no matter what that partner is, the project really has the possibility to be great. So the partnership that you are building with these organisations is so key to you actually changing the lives of the people that you want to work with. So that's why this session is here today. I said to Rachel earlier, this session is going to change everything. I've got very high opinion of how this session is hopefully going to change the way that Enactus teams really work with their partners. We're going to take it to an entire new level by showing the best practice, by getting you to think and put yourselves in the shoes of our project partners, and we're going to make it so that your project can become great projects because you have great partnerships. So often when you think of partnerships, it is kind of like you have your project, you have your partner, and you have your beneficiaries. But it's a sort of a 1-to-1-to-1 ratio, maybe 1-to-many with the beneficiaries. Rachel, your projects are sort of doing this, but we'll come on this, is that actually you don't have to have one partner. You don't have to have one partnership with your projects. Collaboration is actually sort of where you can get so much more out of it. So, be great at what you do, the rest is partnerships. Basically means you're awesome. Your partner is probably awesome. There are other areas though where you could, get some help to actually improve it. If you do what you're really good at, and you partner with other people who are really good at the things that you aren't so good at, then you can achieve great things. You don't have to do everything. Partnerships is a real skill. Yes?
But surely there's going to be a conflict of interest, particularly from partners. Some partners will want to be the sole backer of your program. Maybe it's for marketing things, maybe it's for their own HRE purposes, but surely they'll want to be...
Sometimes, sometimes not. I think just as a quick thing to say, when we talk about partners, when we talk about all of this, there are hundreds of projects out there. Like each year there are 250 odd projects run by Enactus teams. To say that there is one rule to rule them all is definitely not true. So, like, forgive us, sometimes these won't always actually apply in your circumstance. But actually, so often, by having multiple partnerships, you bring credibility. Like, so often, Enactus, how many people have gone to a partner and kind of gone, Enactus is this, and they've kind of gone, huh? What's that? You have to explain it. If you sort of say to a new partner, this is who we are, we've also got this organisation on board already, and we're trying to achieve this, it brings a whole new sort of meaning to what you're trying to achieve. So, some of you probably have heard this proverb before, so I'm using it, probably with our context. If you want to walk fast, walk alone. If you want to walk far, walk together. Partnerships are so important. Literally, make partnerships, walk together, take your time over building that partnership. Don't just try and rush just as soon as the door is opened by the partner to just jump in there. Take time, and as a partnership, build your project. Next, please.
Okay, cool. So, this slide is basically just about what partners can provide. So I just want some ideas from you. What can partners supply to your team or your project? Yep.
Potentially funding.
Funding? I'll let Mike put this. Any other ideas?
Expertise on your beneficiaries.
Yeah, great.
They can help you find your beneficiaries.
Find access beneficiaries, yeah.
Experience.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
So they, well, kind of what you call it there, they bring their knowledge, their past experience, it adds new layers, gives you more, basically.
Yeah, great.
I'd say time. I think the biggest thing is obviously, as a student, you don't have all the time to always be on your project, so they can help you manage your time and
Okay.
share responsibilities.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Anyone else? Anything else you can supply? Okay, you can go to the next one. Sorry, go on.
Continuity of projects. Sort of if you're between teams, you sometimes need partners to help you stay engaged with your beneficiaries.
Yeah, definitely.
So the next team has somewhere to start from.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so some of the things that I put there, they can supply beneficiaries, access to beneficiaries, advice, sponsorship, somebody said about funding, and networking opportunities. Has anybody used their partners for networking? No? Okay, we'll cover that in a minute. Second one, they can strengthen your impact. As students, quite a lot of the time, what we do is in our bubble. And what we do might be on campus or with other students, or maybe your other contacts might be at home. Partnerships help your impact to go beyond the student realm. They help it to go beyond your beneficiaries. And partnerships help your impact to go into, it can go into a whole sector, it can go into the whole third sector, or whichever sector you're working in your city. So it really takes it a step further than what you can do without a partner. Yep. And finally, support. So if you're working with beneficiaries, I work with vulnerable women, and I need a lot of support from Together Women Project. They provided me with training, they provided me with support when people disclose things to me. So somebody would say, I want to commit suicide, and that was something that really happened to me, and I had no idea what to do. And I took it to my partner, and they counselled me and they counselled the woman through it, which was absolutely incredible. So it really builds you as a person, and it builds your project. Okay, cool. So this is the WISE logo, which I really like, and I hope you do too. And these are some of the partners that we had. So Seagulls, we used Seagulls for workshops, and they taught us how to mosaic, and they also gave us some beneficiaries. They work with women who are in prison, and they come on day trips. Rework, upcycle furniture, and that's one of the things that we've done in workshops with our beneficiaries, and they taught us the skills of how to do that. And Miller Construction give us the furniture to upcycle. If you just want to go to the next one. And then we partnered with Together Women. which is where we found our beneficiaries. You can go to the next one. So, Together Women projects have over 100 partners. One of those is now Enactus. And when I was running WISE, I actually engaged with those partners, and that meant that so many organisations in the third sector in Leeds knew who WISE were, they know who Enactus is, and they know what we're here to do. We didn't have to approach organisations after we made these partnerships because the organisations knew what we could provide for them and they approached us, which was absolutely incredible. So I'm going to go through later some tips on how to access your organisation's partnerships, okay? And I've just put at the bottom here, more access to beneficiaries. If you're with an organisation that has beneficiaries, chances are they're connected to a load of other organisations that have other beneficiaries, okay? Can you just move your head? So professional training, like I've explained, and established in the third sector so they do have a wider impact. Yeah, next one. Okay then, what we expect. What do you think a project partner, if you imagine your project partner, what do you think that they expect from you? What are the key things? Yeah.
Plan.
A plan. Yeah, good. Do you want to write them down?
Yeah.
Are you bothered about us writing them down or should we just go through them? Just go through them? Okay, cool. Yeah.
Time and dedication on your behalf.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that?
Time and dedication on your behalf. So that's the team, the Enactus team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Structure.
Yeah, so is that you
So-
sharing your structure or
Yeah,
it being
just- you have your people, and you say who belongs to what, the skills that go towards one particular area.
Yeah, so set you know what the expectations are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So our partner expects us to take ownership of the project. They want to sponsor it financially because they have some surplus money and they want you to take ownership of it, create a business plan, and they want to act like consultants or like they want to review their investment in a way.
Okay, is that working for you? Is that the kind of partner that you wanted?
It's a partner that should be collaborating with other partners as well, but it's a start.
Yeah, one thing about partnerships I've noticed is when you're an Enactus student, it's very different from when you're a volunteer. And as partners, we do expect Enactus students to take ownership of their projects, and because your ownership really is the whole reason why you've made the project, to own it. But there's some things maybe that you might disagree with in that partnership. Yeah, and that's the importance of finding other partnerships as well. Yeah. Anybody else? What we expect from you?
Professional attitude and maturity.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I've just put a few things down here. The first one and the most important one is that this is the only thing. If it's one thing you take away from the session, take this. We expect you to work with us towards our ethos, towards a cause, and towards a result. If we don't share this, there's no point in us being partners because we're always going to conflict with each other. Has anybody found that? Maybe you've got too much into a partnership and then found, actually, this company isn't what I thought it was. They're not doing the things that I thought they were. Has anybody found that? Yeah.
I can tell for a fact, way more of you have found that.
Yeah.
Like your teams have, at least.
I found that a few times. I found with women's projects, sometimes I tried to partner with them and then I found out that they absolutely put everything into the women they work with, but they don't look after the staff. And that kind of goes against everything that we wanted to work with as a project. Okay, the next one, professionalism. We really, really do expect that from you. If you're not professional, then we're babysitting you, and we don't have time for that. And the final one is provision of time and resources. I think a few people touched on that. We do expect you to come with an idea, to come with a plan, and to be able to provide, especially if your partner is a charity. The charity probably can't afford to give you a lot of staff time and to give you a lot of funding or a lot of finance for, say, for craft things or for whatever venture you're going down. So we can work with you, and partners do work together to get funding. But if you know that your partner is financially challenged, then do provide your own time and your own resources as much as you can. Yeah? Does anyone have any questions on that? Is it okay?
Did everybody get them written down?
Yeah. Okay. Now we're going to go through a bit of a tricky bit. how to build a perfect partnership. It's not going to be perfect, that's number one. But there's 3 things that we're going to go through to try and help you to find good partnerships. Okay? Do you want to go through?
Yep, absolutely. So, the 3 things here we'll walk through over the course of the rest of the session. First of all, starting with identifying the right partner, then going on to setting standards, so expectations, very similar to what we did here, building trust, respect and reputation, making sure that all those are intact. As Rachel said, no such thing as the perfect partner, but we're gonna try and get it there. If you could, for us. Click, so. Thank you. So, partner identification. Click, please. Thank you. Sorry, hold inside. So yes, a good partnership. It's mutually beneficial. We've touched on that a lot already. Has clear expectations. What was the number one thing that was most important? It was that you've got to be working to the same thing. It means that you've also been very open with what you can give and what they can give and what you expect of them and what they expect of you. If you don't have that open communication from the start, if you haven't made it clear, then your entire partnership is built on sand. It's gonna, at some point, gonna have trouble. So be as clear as what you expect from one another as possible. From both of you, of course you can't control them delivering on agreements. I think that was one of the points that people highlighted earlier. But you can try it by mixing the other bits, making that successful. But you've got to deliver on what you agreed to. If you can't, be open with them, tell them why, give good excuses. Don't give just excuses of, sorry, I forgot about that email. Again. Sorry guys. Honestly, it's a partnership. This is a real project. You're trying to change lives here. Really do make sure that your project follows through on whatever you've agreed to. Don't leave anybody hanging out in the cold. It's not helping you, it's not helping Enactus, it's not helping the people you're trying to change their lives. Clear and honest communication. So throughout all of these, this is the one that really sums it all up. Clear and honest. So, how do you think you might go about having clear and honest communication?
Tell them any problems you encounter and why you've encountered and what you're doing to try and find a solution to that specific problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love it. Anybody else? I can just see bright lights. Yes, please.
Weekly updates, so whether that be an email, phone call, or preferably a meeting with somebody with them, keeping them updated with what's going on, as I said, problems and having to overcome them, but make sure they're with you every step of the way so they understand what's going on.
Fantastic, yes.
Organise and plan what you're going to say before.
Yeah, don't just let it sort of spill out.
Yeah.
Think it through. Yeah.
Communicate any concerns you might have with the relationship that you have.
Yes. Honesty is the best policy,
Yeah.
as they say.
It's really good to talk about how your partnership is working for both of you as well. If you are having partnerships, like if your partnership isn't responding to you, or if there's some things that you don't agree with or that aren't working for you, just talk about it, sit down and talk about it with them. It really, really does work.
Actually, there's one more hand I saw. Yeah.
Could you share a past experience as an example of avoidance with them? Or
What do you mean of avoidance?
for instance, if you had a partner that was not responding on time, could you share this experience with the new partner, explaining how important that was for the project?
So if something didn't work out before, can you tell a future partner that that's happened?
I think there's special circumstances, obviously, but I think as long as you don't start naming names, pointing fingers, I mean, like including the organisation's name,
Yeah.
you can sort of say we didn't have the greatest partnership in the past. As long as you find yourself flawless, you never had any role with any of these other problems, then yes, sort of don't just sort of labour on about how they were so bad, but just sort of say how you needed more communication and therefore it didn't work, which is why you're looking for a better communication.
Yeah.
Do you think we should be picky with our partners? I mean, of course, we want those which maybe their mission statement or ethos aligns or is a close enough match to the Enactus criteria. But of course, can we be picky as well?
I think there's yes and no.
Yeah.
And maybe. Like yes, definitely don't just launch onto the first partner whoever that comes along. Bad idea. Very bad idea. Make sure you spend time working out whether they're going to work for you. Like, not work for you, but make sure the partnership's going to work out. But at the same time, as we sort of saying, there is no such thing as a perfect partner.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for that to come along, you're going to be there for a long, long time, and then you'll never get anything done.
I would say on that, know what you're willing to negotiate. If you know what you're going to negotiate, then even if your partner isn't perfect, absolutely, you know, Christmas present partner, you can work on it and you can build a good partnership. Yeah. If you don't know what you're going to negotiate, then you'll come out of your discussion and you'll go, actually, that works for them, not for me.
Yeah, fantastic. Sorry, I have to move along, I think. So, next, chopped it off. That's unfortunate. So, choosing a partner. I've created a quick way of trying to express different strengths and capacities of partners. So, on a scale of 1 to 5, we've got mission alignment, we've got the expertise of the partner. Lord knows what this was.
Organisational capacity.
Organisational capacity. You reading that off the back of somebody's head, by chance? Fantastic. Organisational capacity. So, do they have the resources to be able to help you? Do they buy into your vision? And do they have access to beneficiaries? So, like, these are just sort of 5 things. I'm sure there are many other things, but you've got to kind of write down as well what's important to you. So add extra bits to the star. Maybe one is a little bit too similar to another. But this is just a quick model to base your ideas on. Is to say, some partners are going to be here. Some partners are going to be here. But they might be up there, you know, it's going to change. Can you please click onto the next slide? Thank you. So I've got an example here of 2 different partners. One is an organisation, and one is an individual. Now, would anybody like to quickly guess which one's the individual, which one's the organisation?
Red is individual.
Yeah.
Who thinks red is individual? Hands up. Okay. Apart from the person who said it, why?
Because they don't have very much organisation or whatever that is.
Yes. Organisational capacity. Yes. So that was my standout point. Yes. Thank you. You guys saw straight through me immediately. So often I've seen teams be like, we've got a partner, they're amazing, they know exactly like everything, they are the experts, they love what we do, or they love what we do, and they're exactly the people who we need to be doing. It's Bob. He's a great guy. He knows all the homeless people in London, and you're like, oh, that's fantastic, but is there anybody else? Does Bob work with anybody else? Like, no, he's just such a great guy. You're like, this is fantastic. Like, but he's not going to be able to help in the same way as what you actually need. You need more organisational capacity. Yes, you can have access to beneficiaries to an extent, but you all the other reasons that we sort of said of like sort of managing time, working along one side there, sort of then being able to pick up on the weaknesses that you have and the strengths that they have. You need organisational capacity. So just by quickly, you know, thinking in your head about different how different partners interact, different strengths, then you can begin to think, is this partner right for us? Or do we, in fact, maybe need 2 partners, for instance? So in this example, if you were to have 2 partners, you might even get a score of 5, 5, 5, 5, to an extent. Quite low, actually, to be fair. And fair organisational capacity. This is what we mean by partnering with maybe more than one partner. Wise was especially great at that, in that they needed lots of people to come together to form what they needed. This is just a sort of a weak visualisation of how that might actually be the case. A couple of questions.
What do you mean by organisational capacity?
Resources, so if it's just Bob, he's on his own, he's going to only have so much time, he's probably doing a lot of stuff already, he's going to probably keep emailing you back, sort of say, sorry, it's been a week, I keep meaning to get back to you, but I've got so much on at the moment, I'm doing so much. So if you're actually part of an organisation, so Together Women's, how many people work at Together Women's out of interest?
In Leeds there's 20.
Now that's organisational capacity. They're by no means like overwhelmingly resourced,
Yeah.
but it's a bit more than Bob and his lonesome. There was another question. Yeah.
Just out of interest, why would an individual need less access to beneficiaries than the people like an organisation?
Because that's just a number that I put down at the end. Don't worry about this.
If it's like a charity or something, they will have more access to beneficiaries than one individual might.
Yeah, it's like some individuals will have amazing access to beneficiaries, some won't, some organisations will. Is it just in this make-believe example?
Yeah.
It just happens to be that way. Next slide, please. So,
Okay, this is what we're doing next. You can go to the next one, that's fine. Okay, so setting the standards. So once you've identified a partner and you've checked whether your mission lines up and whether they've got what you're looking for in beneficiaries and capacity, then it's really good to sit down with them face to face. If you can't sit face to face, obviously if they're international or in a different city, it's good to call and go through your expectations and your commitment. Okay? So your expectations, what are they? What sort of things do you need to talk about?
The end goal of what you expect the partner to do, what they expect you to do in the project.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. What you expect each other to achieve. You can also talk about expectations of time, how many people they expect you to be able to provide, and what support you expect them to be able to provide. It's really good to sit down with your team and write down what your expectations are and then discuss them and negotiate them with a partner. And your commitment as well. I've got another slide on this in a minute, but I'll just briefly cover it, okay? Your commitment, so that's your time, your resources, your capacity, how many people can you deal with, or if it's maybe not a beneficiary partnership, then what sort of product or thing are you dealing with, and how much are you going to commit to it, how many years in time, how long is the project going to run for, things like that are really good to talk about in commitment. And then put it in writing. Does anybody have a contract with a partnership? One? Anybody else? Okay, cool. It's really good to put things in writing because if you speak to a partnership or a potential partnership and then you go away and you reformulate your project, you come back in 4 months, you have no idea and they have no idea what you expected and discussed. So it's really good to put those things in writing, then you can stick to them, and also your partnership can stick to them, because it does happen that your partner might kind of stray away from those things, and then you can say, actually, you agreed to this, and we wrote it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how many people are running international projects? Hands up. Okay, so about a third of the room. So when I first started, so back in 2009, when I first started my project, we were the first people to really try and invest big time into our partnerships, and one of that big things included actually having contracts. So when I say contracts, it was a service agreement, which basically means a soft contract, but MOUs, Memorandum of Understanding, which basically sort of says, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we agree to this. It doesn't say, I'll see you in court if you do any of this wrong. It's just literally a memo of understanding. And literally, it changed everything. And I honestly recommend, if you really, really want to make a partnership work, put it in writing. An MOU starts to say to a partner, we're taking this seriously. We are actually putting things in writing, we are committing to things, we are setting expectations, we're writing it down. We are going to keep to this much more than our words just on an email or just in like face-to-face. They will believe you so much more, they'll commit so much more to the partnership. It will force you to commit, it will encourage your team to commit, it will encourage them to actually follow through on actions. Altogether, best thing you can do is just one simple action, is to start going away and writing an MOU. It's long term, changes everything.
You can Google how to do them as well.
They're really
They're not
simple.
hard.
Like you can literally, a memo means like often just a page. It can just start as that.
Yep, okay, next one. Okay, cool. So this is just a note on expectations. When I started in Enactus and I went to Together Women Project, I said to them, okay, well we're going to run all year through, we'll run all the way through Christmas, we'll run all the way through Easter, and we'll finish in summer, literally in the last week of term, because that's what I thought they wanted. They said, oh, we need consistency with our women. That was kind of the discussion that we had. But what I've really learned, actually, is that when it came to Christmas and when it came to holidays, nobody would volunteer with me. I didn't discuss it with my team, and it was a huge mistake. I couldn't commit to it, but I'd already told my partnership that I could. And I went to the partnership and I was like, oh, I'm really sorry. It's only going to be me this week, da-da-da-da. And they literally said, oh, don't worry about it, hon, it's fine. Honestly, and they absolutely were like, oh, actually, we're going home for Christmas as well, so we didn't really want to be open that day just for you to run your project. So when you do plan it and when you do make commitments, bear those things in mind. Take time off for your holidays, take time off for exams, make sure you have enough planning time, because partnerships totally understand. You need your holidays, and so do we. Your partnership takes days off. We're exactly the same people as you. We just do things full time, that's all. So we do need our holidays, and we totally understand. So don't think that it's going to be all professional and you have to do 100% all the time. Just plan for it before.
Yeah, that basically comes down to the point that we said earlier. Honesty in communication. Like, don't like you when you were sort of starting out, you sort of say, oh, we can do all of this, and like that was for you. But the honesty is actually maybe not. So just be honest, and they might sort of say, well, actually, we need you to be here all the time. That's not fun for you. It would cause trouble down the line. It just worked out. These were a great part.
Yeah.
But like, you've got to be open as much as you can.
Yeah, we learned about the importance of being open and being honest and talking really regularly with all of our partnerships. Okay, and well, the first one, but my second point, is that you're going to make mistakes. And somebody said it before, be honest and communicate with your partner what's gone wrong, why it's gone wrong, and what you're going to do about it. And you should expect your partner to do the same. And that's one of the things I would say to write down in the contract. As an organisation in a partnership, we do make mistakes. Sometimes we double book things, or we forget that somebody's been in touch with us. We make mistakes. You might be partnered with a really kind of strict organisation that says they don't make mistakes. But they will have made mistakes in the past. So don't worry about it, just be really open and honest, and don't think that it's going to ruin your entire project. It will ruin your project if you don't tell your partnership what's going on, but it won't ruin your project if you communicate with them. Okay.
Yeah, we've got to be honest.
I've put in the bottom as well, be honest in what you can achieve. Don't say you're going to set up a £500,000 enterprise with somebody. Just be absolutely honest. And if you set your expectations a bit lower than what you really think you can achieve, then you'll blow their minds and it'll be great. Okay, cool. Has anybody got any suggestions on how you can build trust with a partnership or a reputation with a partnership? Yep.
Don't make it all meetings. I mean, sometimes the best way to build a relationship with someone is over a drink, or after work, or having lunch with them, or socialising basically. I mean, it's great to build a formal relationship with somebody, but it's also really important to have a social relationship with them as well.
Yeah, that's a really good suggestion actually, yeah. Didn't think of that one. Yeah, go on.
If the partner is overseas, maybe you can report back to them frequently with the progress made.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Prove that you can deliver on what you say, even if it's little things. It gives them more of a sort of idea that you can do what you're obliged to do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, delivering on expectations. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. Okay, so I've put 3 things down. 3 easy points for you to remember. First one, communication. We've kind of covered that. There's just one extra point to make, and that's maintaining key contacts. Somebody asked about key contacts before. So when you do have a key contact in your team, whether that's in the project or in Enactus, whoever the partner's with, it's really important that that person has time to commit. And like you said, socially, they might want to build that relationship a bit more. It's important that the key contact that you choose, or the key contacts, sometimes it's better to have 2 or 3, are really willing to commit to that relationship and to commit to communicate with the organisation. It's also good to establish a key contact with your partnership and say, okay, and write it down in your expectations. You will be the person that I communicate with once a week, twice a week, whatever. Yep. The next one is consistency. If you do workshops with your beneficiaries or with your project partners, then it's really good to keep them at the same time, location, for most of the time. Obviously, there's times when you do things differently and you change things, and that's fine. But it's good for the organisation that you're partnering with and for your beneficiaries to keep it consistent. So they get to know you and they get to know what you're about and where you'll be generally. And then once you've established that, that's when you can kind of start changing things if you need to. Okay? And being regular and consistent is like with communication as well. Try and communicate the same way. If you've been emailing someone for 5 months, then if you call them, maybe in the middle of the night, or if you just turn up to their office, they might be a bit confused. It's good to keep it consistent with that person. Sorry, I thought you had a question. All right, and the final one is cooperation. And this, I think somebody had this point before. So decision making should be a discussion. And that doesn't mean your partner is telling you what they expect and what you've done right and wrong. It's between you and your partner. you're both on an equal level, and just because maybe this incredible organisation has come to you and wants to partner, it doesn't mean that you don't have a right to discuss what you want. So when you're cooperating, you should know what you want and you should take it to them, and don't be scared to do that. That's taking ownership of your project, is taking the things that you want to negotiate and discuss. Okay? You should also expect your partnership organisation to do the same. There's things that they won't shift on and there's things that they will negotiate on. So just bear that in mind when you are cooperating, and maybe when you're asking for a bit more time or a bit more space or more beneficiaries, whatever. Okay, cool. Has anybody fallen into this trap before?
Yes.
Okay, how did it happen?
Hands up. Quickly, like, hands up, how many people have fallen into the trap of
Yeah.
being asked to volunteer? Wow.
Okay,
Karen, sorry.
lots of people fall into this trap.
Yeah.
If your partner is a charity, then this does happen, because as a charity, we get 100 volunteers, 100 volunteer applications, and one Enactus project. The first Enactus project that we've had, it's the only one that we've had. So how do we know that they're not volunteers? It's kind of hard, so that's the way that we were treated when we first got there. And things like, we were assigned duties. The staff said, okay, I know you're running that group, but could you also make sure that you wash the kitchen, and if anybody comes in, can you write a letter for them or just help them out? That's not what I was there for. And that put me in the volunteer trap, because they thought that the partnership essentially was them asking me to do things and I would just provide time. The second one is not making decisions, not being able to make decisions about what you do with the beneficiaries, about your project. Sometimes the organisation can own your project more than you do. And the last one, your project isn't developing. It's the same time every week and you're just doing the same things and your beneficiaries aren't becoming empowered. Those are things that kind of warning signs for when you might just be falling into volunteering instead of an Enactus project. So the things that I would suggest to avoid that: firstly, set your expectations in your contracts and make them know that you're not there just to volunteer. That what you're doing, obviously it is voluntarily as an Enactus student, but you're not a volunteer like the rest of their volunteers. Stick to your own boundaries, and that's about what you're willing to do. If you say, I'm going to run a workshop and this workshop is going to do A, B and C, stick to those things. As soon as you start doing more things, you become a volunteer. Okay, so that's things like, if you might decide to volunteer an extra day in the centre or wherever your beneficiaries are, and during that day you'll be assigned different duties and things if you are a volunteer. But when you come in to do your workshop or you come in to do your Enactus work, you'll be treated exactly the same. You'll be treated as a volunteer. So it's good to know what your boundaries are. Demonstrate your results. Show your partner that you mean business, and show them that what you're doing, and obviously you're going to be doing something different to all those volunteers, show them that it's working and that it's really, really beneficial to them. Taking ownership of your project, we've already talked about. That's making your own decisions and making the contracts. Being responsible for your team. If your team are coming to work with this partner, don't expect the partnership to look after them, because if we're looking after a team, then to us they're a team of volunteers. If you're looking after your team and you know each other's expectations and roles and duties, then we don't need to assign them roles and duties and things like that. So that hopefully should get you out of the volunteering trap. And if you know that you're in one, sit down with your partner and talk about it and say, I'm more than a volunteer, these are the things that I want to do.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Just to say as well, that volunteering at the start, to begin to understand the organisation, to get to know them, to build social capital with them, to be understanding of the beneficiaries a bit more, the problems, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, we're not sort of saying don't volunteer. We're saying, when you're building your Enactus project, make sure you're not volunteering. So don't necessarily take that the wrong way of saying don't give your time for free and be a volunteer. It's literally just make sure it's appropriate when you're actually trying to run your project.
And
a
make sure
lot of teams have done needs assessments, like early stage needs assessments in that way. Sorry.
Yeah, I volunteered before I ran WISE, and I found the changeover quite hard. And if you are, it is good to volunteer and to get to know beneficiaries first. That's really good. Just make sure you distinguish it when you change. Okay, next one. Okay, cool. I can't take the praise for this quote, but I absolutely love it. Too often, a partnership is just a bunch of people from different organisations who just happen to be present in the same room, giving the impression of dancing while actually standing still. And Mike thought it would be great to put Parliament in the background.
I thought it'd be funny. You can't see.
Okay, you can go on to the next one. So sometimes your partners kind of just stagnate and loads of people pretend that they're working together, but nobody's cooperating, no one's really benefiting from it. So I just thought I'd give you some points to be a really outstanding partnership and to dance with your partner and to make progress with them. The first one we've been through over and over again. Know and understand your partner's ethos and needs. Align yourself with those as well. Align your project with it. The second one, expanding your partnerships and inviting. That's what you said before. Make social connections with them. Go a bit further. If you want to just be a strict business partnership, then establish that. But it's really, really great, and you really get a lot out of it if you get to know the staff in your partnership, if you get to know more than just your key contact, if you invite your partnership to things that you're doing. When I was running WISE, after we came back from Nationals, we had a big award ceremony at uni, and we invited Together Women Project to that award ceremony, and it was really great, and they actually gave a speech and presented us with our award, and from there they've made a partnership with the university and they have formal volunteers now, and that was really, really great in making our partnership. It really, really established us in that. So don't be afraid to invite them to things. Invite them to fundraisers, invite them to Enactus events, invite them into your project events. Just invite them to everything and make them know that you are a real partnership and you want to work together on more than just your project. Okay? Put in extra work towards mutual goals. So just an example of that, Together Women Project ran a really big event for International Women's Day, and they asked us to attend the event. So we did attend it, and we made a huge stall, and we had loads of different crafts and loads of different things. And at that event, I made the rest of my partnerships. All of the other partnerships came from that one event. There was hundreds and hundreds of partnerships there, and we got to talk to all of them. They got to see us. It was absolutely incredible, and it's just because we turned up. Just be present, take an interest in the things that your partner is doing outside of your projects. If they're running events, if they're running workshops, have a go to them, see what they're like, and put in extra work as well. Really make sure that they know that you're going to deliver results and that you're worth investing in. Yeah? Okay, let's go to the next one. Cool. We've got time.
How much time do we have to pick out?
5 minutes.
Oh.
We're at the end though, it's fine.
Yeah, I was going to say. So, where was I? Yes, perfect partnership activity. So we've already established there's no such thing as a perfect partnership. But what we're now going to quickly do is we're going to have shouting out. This side of the room are going to be the project partner. This side of the room, slightly unfair advantage to you, but this side of the room are going to quickly put together what we think. Sorry, my bad. You guys are students. You're partners. Students, you're going to now quickly draw up what you think the perfect partnership with a partner organisation looks like. Partners, you are going to do the same, in that you're going to quickly write together, actually maybe half the group, thinking about it, it's quite large.
Yeah, we're working too hard.
But basically, you're going to write the perfect partnership that you want for Enactus teams. Okay? So just quickly, we'll get some paper. What we're going to do now is each group to quickly share their top 3. Like, it doesn't actually have to be the top 3 at the top of the paper, but your favourite 3. So, shall we start, as soon as there are 2 on this side? We'll start with you guys. Anybody?
Innovation.
Sorry?
Innovation.
You're looking for innovation. So, how do you mean sort of new value being brought to your organisation?
Yeah, so we want them to approach problems in ways that we've not. So we don't want them to do exactly the exact same thing we do.
Okay, everybody. Huge amount of value just being said. So
we want them to approach problems in sort of a slightly different way than we do, to not exactly mirror every single thing that we do.
That's really nicely put. Another one, quickly.
Proper regular communication. So when they're writing emails, they form it correctly. It's not just informal, and also they have to do it quite regularly, not every once in a blue moon.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, next group at the back there.
So we had respect my values as a partner and ethos, clear goals and expectations, and a memorandum of understanding. I mean, from a partner's point of view, if we are expected to put in, say, a mixture or sum of time, manpower, monetary, where are the agreements and where's the understanding going to lie? I think that's, out of all of it, that's the most important one, because there needs to be clear understanding between partner and partner relations.
Excellent. And so finally, something that I'm sure hopefully you can all empathise with, the student perspective.
Yeah, so we were thinking about that. We think it's really important that you guys also share your resources with us, because we might not have access to the same resources than you do. It would be really helpful to just share it. And then we were thinking about that we should have consistent communication. So we know that you're doing a job and you're running something else at the same time, but we're also running our studies at the same time, but still it's important that we have face-to-face communication if possible. And also, that was something that you also said, that we should have the same ethos, that you should believe in our project, and that we should share the same ideas, really. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be really good.
I'm sure you could all agree on those as well. Okay, so let's quickly, we'll sum up. So if everybody wants to quickly get comfortable again.
This is a good exercise to do with your teams when you're looking for a partner.
Yeah.
Put down the things that you want.
Has anybody ever read or watched To Kill a Mockingbird?
Yeah.
Yeah? You know the line about how you never understand anybody until you've walked around in their shoes? This exercise works brilliantly because you really need to empathise with your partners to really have a partnership empathy. So, we've also quickly created a list that we'll quickly run through. You'll be able to refer back to these slides, of course, of things not to do. I'm sure you'll recognise a couple of them. So, as we've said, don't fail to deliver on your promises. One of the things we said is, if you do begin to fail to deliver on your promises, tell them about it. Be honest,